Hi you guys, my name is Derrick Rashid and welcome to my channel. Welcome back for another recap of our favorite trash TV show, 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, ? And on this episode, we pick up in Nigeria exactly where we left off, with Angela storming out after the conversation with Lydia. And we are seated with Lydia and Michael, and basically Lydia just asks, Michael, are you able to truly deal with this? Michael's like, yes, it's been 3 years. I can do it. I have been doing it. They part ways, and then Michael, on his way back to the apartment, the house, whatever it is, he lets us know that he feels as though he's kind of stuck in between Angela and his family, and he's gonna have to pick one of them soon, and this is not the situation that he wanted to be in. But upon his arrival, he walks through the door, and Angela just starts going off at him. As far as we've never seen her dig into this man like this before. She's cursing at him. She's calling him outside of his name. She's dogging his culture. She's just going in. Honestly, the entire situation just seems extremely toxic. She's being extremely rude. We're not negating the fact that Michael has his part in this, but it's the way that she carries the entire situation. She also calls off the wedding again because she says she doesn't want to be with someone like Michael. So that's 2 times in one night that this wedding has been called off. So we would normally think it's only going to be a matter of time before it's on, because that's all they do. Every episode, it's on, it's off, it's off, it's on. It's just always something. And of course you have Michael, who's trying to be cool, calm, and collected, because I don't know, I just feel as though one person cannot be okay with being talked to like this, being demeaned like this, if it's not for the purpose of getting a green card. I feel as though that's the end goal for Michael. He's gonna get here, he's gonna settle down, he's gonna get all his stuff together, hopefully, and he's just gonna make his exit. Angela says the only way that she's going to go through with this wedding is if Michael's mom agrees. So she goes ahead and hires an interpreter so that she can just be sure that what she's saying is going to the mom and the way that she's saying, and it's not getting misconstrued. She tells them that this is very important to her, because if Michael's mom does not agree with his wedding, that's just going to be it for this relationship. And she lets him know that she does not plan on being submissive. That's not how their relationship is going to work. And the mom is like, Michael, are you okay with this? Is this what you want? And he says yes. So she's like, okay, if that's what my son wants, then that's what it'll be. So then the interpreter gets dismissed, because all of a sudden all this relationship drama is not enough for her to be able to interpret, because now we're going to start talking about Angela's entire reproductive mess. And basically the mom is like, okay, well, if you can't give a child and this is what my son wants again, then I approve. Michael says in his little interview moment that although Angela cannot bear him a child, that he's okay with that because he loves her. And he'll probably love the other women that he's gonna impregnate. Libby and Andre are back at the airport in Moldova to pick up Jen, their mom, Pamela, and her stepdad, Walter. Where has Walter been? Because this entire time, I didn't even know that Libby's mother and father were not together. But Libby tells us that her parents have been divorced or separated or whatever since she was 8 years old. So we pack up, and here's Jen right off bat, just like her father did. Her mother has already started. Her brother did the same thing. She's like, oh, it's really sad looking here, just like I thought. And in the car, we haven't even left the airport parking yet, and she's already going in. They're driving up through the city, and she's like, how can you not be depressed here? It's not even 4 o'clock and it's already getting dark. I'm sorry, but over here when it's the fall time, doesn't it get dark earlier? We shift our clocks and everything, so what? And then she goes on and she's like, oh, no wonder you wanted to leave here. We arrive at the Airbnb. Andre is still intact. He hasn't cussed Jen out. He hasn't cussed the mom out. He's being actually very calm. Everyone mingles because Andre's parents and his brother and everyone is there. His mom has laid out yet another spread, and they're just mingling and mixing and having conversation to the best of their abilities. Andre asks Jen to try the pork fat on the bread thing situation, and she's like, I'm not gonna try that. Now, we had this discussion, guys. We know how I feel about this. If you're gonna travel to another country, you should try the food. It's not something that you're gonna get home, so when in Rome, why not try it? The next morning, Jen and the rest of the freaking holding cell crew are downstairs, and they're talking trash yet again, because what else would they do? I mean, come on. Jen says that she's gonna lose weight during this trip because she can't eat this food. Oh, mind you, she's sitting at a table that is covered in fruit, covered in croissant, but it doesn't really look like any of them are eating anything. They're drinking their coffee and they're just ragging on the food, and then Chuck decides to chime in, because why wouldn't he? And he's like, oh, well, you know that's really bad when you have to keep asking, like, what's this? What's this? What's this? And then refers to their food as peasant food. And then you have freaking Charlie is like bringing up the entire instance of what happened at dinner after Jen asked about it. And he's like, oh, I feel bad for like telling them this, but they need, no, you took joy out of telling them because you want to keep the drama going. And we also find out that Chuck and Charlie are gonna reach out to Marcel because they got his phone number or something, and they're gonna continue to try to nag and see what happened with Andre and Marcel and why they moved to Ireland, which is the reason all this stuff really started. Anyway, they go off to go get some real food. So McDonald's, here they come. Later on, we have Libby, Jen, Pamela, Ina, which is Andre's sister-in-law, going to do a little bit of dress shopping to get something more traditional for the wedding. So Libby is going to have like an outfit change. She's going to start out traditional and then wear the dress that she got while she was in the States. Again, Jen is like, oh, well, the dresses are cute. It's very Little House on the Prairie. Obviously, the dresses are not going to be like they are in the States because you're in a different freaking country. But alas, this is Jen. This is his family. They're going to say some things. That's the way it is. And I can't wait for them to like not. While Libby is trying on dresses, Jen decides to use this time to talk to Ina. But sadly, her phone doesn't have any service. Like, who's your service provider? Did you not get the international plan? Like, what's going on? I feel like you'll be on top of this because you're so bougie. So she decides to use the store clerk to translate. Hopefully this girl got paid. Anyway, they're going back and forth, and basically the conversation goes, we know what happened at dinner. Have you ever seen Andre act like this? And Ina's like, yeah, I've seen him act like this before, but not to this level. And then it's like, I don't really know what Libby sees in Andre. Like, that's my brother-in-law and everything, but I just don't get it. And I'm like, girl, same. According to Ina, Andre may have actually gotten worse since he's been in the States. And obviously, since we're in a dress shop, Libby overhears the entire conversation. Back in Vegas, we have Colt. He and Debbie came back from Brazil a few weeks ago, and apparently Colt and Jess have broken up. They've had fights a few times in these few weeks. We have a little video chat, and in this video chat, Colt invites Jess to come stay with he and Debbie so that he can meet the cats. He can meet the friends, and she's like, yeah, I'm down to meet your friends. I'd love to meet the cats, but I don't want to meet Vanessa. Colt also lets us know that there's a few more secrets that he has to tell Jess, because why can't we not be a trash person? He apparently got lonely and started talking to other women, and by talking, we already know that he's probably slept with them because it is Colt and he's disgusting. But anyway, Colt and Debbie, yeah, I was right. Colt and Debbie go on a little date to a ice cream shop in which Debbie decides that she needs to ask about Jess and how their relationship is going, because God forbid we have our own business. And of course, Colt tells everything about them being back on again and him inviting her to come to Vegas, Debbie asks Colt if he's gonna tell Jess about Vanessa before or after her arrival. And I'm like, what's going on with Vanessa? Turns out Vanessa is now the roommate of Debbie and Colt. After they returned from Brazil, Vanessa had some issues with her divorce, and I guess she fell on hard times or whatever, and Debbie invited her to come live with them. Colt, are you sure you want to do this? Back in South Africa, we have Tanya and Sinjin, who seem to be getting ready for a family gathering. Everyone's arriving. Sinjin's stepfather arrives, and the first thing he says is, "You getting fat." They end up putting this stuff on the grill and cooking up this meat and this grilled cheese looking stuff, and then they sit down to have a lovely dinner together. And Tanya's like, "I'm glad we could all come together." Sinjin's stepfather asks basically if Sinjin feels homesick, and he's like, yeah. He feels like he's missing out on part of his life by being in America, and how he and Tanya talked about owning land, and that's something that he would really only want to do in South Africa. Tanya's completely against this, and she says that although South Africa is a beautiful country, it is riddled in racism, and it's just not an environment that she wants to bring up her child in, since her child will definitely be mixed. And stepfather's like, basically like, yo, that's a really strong viewpoint that you're throwing out there. For Sinjin's stepfather to like basically kind of gloss over that, being a white male in South Africa, his viewpoint is skewed on the situation. But back to Sinjin. Sinjin's like, kids? Who said we're gonna have kids? This is why they shouldn't have gotten married in the first place. Like, obviously we're not privy to every conversation that happens, but it seems as though Tanya is really into this having kids life, and Sinjin has basically never been down for that. Like, since he landed in America, that's been kind of a topic that they've had, and he's never been fully like, hey, yeah, let's do this kid thing. He's always been very wary of the situation. So they shouldn't have gotten married. Like, you're not gonna catch me marrying or dating someone, like being serious with them, if they don't want kids, because for me, that's something I want in my life. So why waste your time doing something like that? But since she married him, like at this point, if that's the way that they both feel about this, go to divorce court. Go to divorce court. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Please just go get a divorce. Get a divorce, because you guys, obviously you're not compatible. You want him to do this. He obviously doesn't want to do that. The guy says he's a free spirit. He doesn't want to be tied down. Yet you want him to progress in this way that most people probably would progress in if they were serious about being in a relationship with someone and wanting to take it to the next level of getting married and having kids and building a life and everything. And that's not what he's about. So like, just call it quits on that. So we have Kalani and Asuelu, who are still in Washington. Kalani meets up with Asuelu's mom and sister to have a conversation with them, and basically all she does is tell them like, hey, I don't know what's going on in this entire situation. I just want to let you guys know that you're not obligated to receive the money that myself, my husband, my family, like, you're not obligated to our money. And I don't care how you feel about it. You can feel how you want to feel about it, but that's just the way it's going to be. If we don't have it, we don't have it. Between Tammy and the mom, we get these little quick things. Grandma doesn't care about the kids. She literally says, I'm sorry, I don't care about the kids. I want to take my son back to Samoa so that he can fulfill his duties and give me money. Tammy is like, you're half Samoan, so you understand how this goes. Like, do you not know the culture? Does this blood not run through your veins? Maybe also, you should get a job so that you can help us. She also doubles down on the fact that she thinks Kalani is controlling and that she's too old for her brother, and that's why I don't like you. She literally said, like, bro, that's why I don't like you. Tammy also says that Asuelu and Kalani need to get divorced or separated. Like, this just makes no sense. You have these grown adults talking about their brother, their son, that he should abandon his kids, leave his wife, all for the fact of them not getting the money that they feel as though they should receive. It's heartbreaking, to say the least, that people are willing to discard the life of another person for a couple dollars. A couple dollars that this man doesn't even actually have. You can see that Kalani's visibly upset, so she decides that she's gonna leave. She's like, this is just what it is, and that's all it's gonna be. So she walks away, and Tammy decides that she wants to get very, very rah and lunges at her, but she's grabbed by her mother, and she's like, the next time I see you, I'm gonna beat you up, and da 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 da. And Kalani just continues to walk away. She gets back to the house, and what do we see? We see Kolini playing with the boys. Asuelu's nowhere to be found, but according to his family, he does everything. But we haven't seen this man actually be like an active father the entire season. Kalani walks back to the room, and he is playing on his phone. She just gives him a recap of the entire situation, and throughout most of it, he's like, oh, that's so wrong. Like, they shouldn't be saying these kinds of things. After Kalani tells him what his mother said about her not caring about the children, he's like, oh, so they went from level 1 to level 70. They should never reach that level. And then he's like, so how did everything end? So Kalani tells him that that Tammy tried to jump on her when she was leaving to fight. And Kalani's like, yo, if your sister would have touched me, I would have dropped her down, period. And I'm like, yes, girl. Yes, you drop this hoe. You drop her down, because she ain't got no business putting her hands on you. But Asuelu's like, you think you could beat my sister? And Kalani's like, bro, I know I could beat your sister. So then it goes into this whole thing where he's starting to say, like, yo, my sister wouldn't go down like that. She'd beat you up and da 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 da. And it's like, do you not know how this entire thing started? This entire thing is not about who would win in a fight. This entire thing is solely about how your family is treating you, is treating me, is treating our kids like we're nothing unless dollars are given. They have words. They both call each other stupid and da 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 da. She goes out and she talks to her sister, and her sister says, I don't want you to stay in a situation because of kids. Like, if I were in this situation, you know what you would want me to do, and I want you to do the same thing for yourself. She right. Like, far too many times people stay in relationships for the sake of children, and a lot of the time it hurts the children. People don't give children the credit that they deserve. Children are very smart. They pick up on things, emotions, tension, all these things these children can pick up on, and they understand that something's wrong, although they may not know what it is. Give these children credit. Also, don't put yourself in this situation if you can get out of it. Like, just wash your hands with it. You guys can co-parent, do whatever, but don't stay trapped in the situation simply for the reason of the idea of your children not growing up with a two-parent household is something that you're holding on to. Let it go. Let it go. So we're back in Vegas with Larissa and Eric, who are going to a home decor store, because obviously Larissa wants to make Eric and David's house Eric and Larissa's house. She picks out a couch that's like $12,000 that she wants Eric to pay for. Not only that, she also wants him to pay for a boob job and a nose job. Eric's like, you want me to spend approximately, let's say, $30,000 on you, and we just got back together. We're not married. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, I'll give it to you, but I'll give it to you with interest and this has to be a contract. Eric, don't give this lady no money. Don't give her no money because you're not gonna get it back. Eric says that Larissa is a lady with expensive taste. Back at the house, Eric has a conversation with Larissa again on why she wants to have this surgery and make sure that she's doing this for her and not for anyone else. And basically Larissa says that she's doing it for her. However, this would also be a benefit to Eric to make him want to marry her. Where's the logic in that? That's it, y'all. That is it for this episode of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And follow me on socials. I do have Instagram. I have Twitter. My handles are at Derrick_Rashid, just like it is with this channel, only the channel does not have the underscore. And until next time, guys.